Уважаемые участники конференции,
Dear participants of the conference, AI Journey, esteemed guests and viewers, I'm happy to welcome you at the NLP session, Natural Language Processing, one of the most important areas in AI industry. So we use this term in English usually, but we are very proud of Russian developers in this area. For the recent 5 years, they've made a real breakthrough in creating machine-human interfaces. They participate in international competitions. They are winners of many competitions, and we see a real boom of technologies of in NLP. And this is one of the drivers, indeed, in the whole sphere of artificial intelligence. And today, these technologies are used everywhere. Chatbots and callers and banking services are done through virtual assistants. And we understand that all these technologies that are turned into product stories, there are real people, creators, researchers, students, PhD specialists. They are working on this and they are creating a more comfortable world with a human face. And this is the main dream, the main idea of NLP. And today we're having the most prominent researchers and developers working in this area, real professionals of their trade. And they will speak about how they created technologies that allow corporations to conquer new niches and markets and give a great user experience to us users, and an overview of the tasks that are tackled by our researchers and scientists, processing text, analyzing text, and speech analysis of tonality and responses to questions, generation of text, machine translation, and recognition of named entities. So the list is very long. I represent a company in Russia, and in my work, I use the work of our scientists and labs who are working around us. And I'm happy to talk to colleagues today about all these things and to ensure that we, as a country, we are among the leaders in this sphere. We are not lagging behind others in such developments. And we have great speakers today on this panel, and now we have a huge chance to compete against global corporations like Google, Facebook, and Amazon. And let me introduce the first speaker, Dilyara from chief researcher from DeepPavlov lab, legendary lab issuing the DeepPavlov library. The number of downloads of this library is more than 500,000. And Dilyara is going to speak about her unique experience, how they participating in Alexa Prize Challenge as DeepPavlov Lab and DeepPavlov Dream, how their bot can be compared against others, and what new achievements we will see soon. Dilyara, the floor is yours. Hello. Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to speak about how our dialogue system Dream of open domain for English language conversations, how it went starting with Alexa Prize Challenge it was created for, and what will happen to it in the nearest future. So let's start. So first of all, what is Alexa Prize Challenge? This is a university competition, team competition to create dialogue systems that can speak on popular topics in English through Amazon Alexa interface. So the main task of the competition that goes in stages every year is to create a dialogue system that can speak for 20 minutes and have an average score of higher than 4. Rating, what is it? User experience is measured in the following way. When the user is speaking to this assistant, and after the conversation, the assistant asks him, do you want to speak to this bot again, valued by the scale from 0 to 5. So this is a rating. The target is to achieve as high a rating as possible, creating a very interesting dialogue system. So we were participating in this competition 2 times, Alexa Prize Challenge 3 and Alexa Prize Challenge 4. Our team was selected 2 times in a row, and our leader, scientific leader, is Mikhail Sergeyevich Burtsev. You've heard about him probably. And after the competition, Alexa Prize Challenge 3, we had some time to think it over before the 4th competition started and the application process started. We set the strategic goals for our dialogue system. The name of the system is DREAM. What we want to achieve for competition 4. Our main goals were to create a target-oriented dialogue management, because we realized that even in conversation on general topics, we need to look at the targets of the users and the dialogue system. And we also noticed that we should set some relations, create relations with users, showing that we not only control the dialogue, but we understand what the user is talking about, even if it was not expressed before. And after the results of competition Alexa Challenge Prize 3, the team won, who offered a lot of scenarios to cover the most popular topics that can be discussed by users. And our main target was to create a scenario base for opportunities of having dialogues, in-depth dialogues, things that are not available now in one-step modal dialogue systems. We also wanted to add as much contact as possible for it to become the basis of the dialogue. Users are not very interested in talking to a bot, a dialogue system, if it doesn't give him or her new or interesting content. So what is dialogue management? After competition 3, the dialogue was like this. You know, they say that they want to discuss sport. We give them facts about sports. If he mentions NFL, we tell him what it is. So we do not have a global goal. We just take an utterance and we share information relevant to this utterance and share information with the user. We do not have a more global goal. We do not know where we are going and so on. And that's why a more interesting version of dialogue might look like this. When a user speaks about sports, we are asking in-depth questions about his relation to sport and what he thinks. And we are asking questions like, is it your profession or a hobby? And the main thing is that we are offering entities that are related to the topic in place, and the dialogue system finds an entity that might be of interest for the user and is related to what is being discussed, and brings it into the dialogue, not just expecting the user to articulate it. And we realized that we need a higher level management for the dialogue. And what do we do for this? Let's start with the architecture of the DREAM dialogue system. When the competition 4 was finalized, we see that it is quite complicated. The structure is based on the following. We use open source framework DeepPavlov engine in order to structure the system. We have various components, the most important ones: annotators, various understanding models for the language. We have skill selector. This is a special component algorithm that selects skills that will be offered for the current situation. Every skill is a small dialogue system, which is, you know, various types of models. They just can give utterances, and according to the current context and the utterances of users, or extracting information from annotators. Skills are skills that are offering hypotheses that can be returned to the user. They are annotated just to understand better what we're talking about. And response selector, this is an algorithm, a component that selects the final hypothesis. From all hypotheses, it takes the final utterance that will go to the user. And the most important thing is as follows. So about the structure and the various components, you can get more data from our technical reports. We publish them annually. Amazon Alexa Prize. There are reports from various teams and from our team from year 3 and 4. I'll give you just a couple of components now, and we'll describe what we were offering, what we added. This is just a small list of annotators. We have various annotators, neural network and rollover models based on rules and algorithms retrieve information. We use external APIs, and this year we added multitask classifiers because we realized that otherwise we cannot get into large resources we have, and that's why this is a good solution. We have 3-in-1 now, but now we're going into 7-in-1, and we can, without losing our quality, now we can pack more into one component and save resources immensely. Another system of annotators are those related to knowledge bases. There are things like this. skills, not just entities and their types. You know, football is sport. That's not enough. Now we are also retrieving additional information. So these entities are linked with a database of Wikidata, for instance, and for this they retrieve triplets, various relations, where it relates and how, and various aspects of common sense that can be used by the skills in the future, and additional facts and information and so on, and various answers to questions. So as much as possible, we retrieve information from annotators in order to use these skills and for them to use everything they receive, all information they can retrieve from various bases. And next point, let's go to skill selector. This model selects the skills that will be launched. The logic is very simple. If there are special requests, if, for instance, Amazon Alexa, if the user wants something special, then special skills are switched on. If he asks for our opinion, basing on various notorious topics, we select only components that are not ambiguous, and basing on information retrieved through annotators of topics and dialogue acts and entities and sometimes patterns, we define what specific skills should be included from closed domain, and also include skills of open domain. And this is quite simple logic, because there is some backup for the process. What are the skills? A huge variation of skills. AML skills, special markup. We have templates, a lot of template skills. All bots offer the same, and we will have a comparison at the end, and we'll get deeper into details on this. So this template skills are coming from open and closed domains. They can discuss various topics, and some skills speak about Oscar or the New Year, and there are skills, template skills, that integrate various services. For instance, they give you weather report or news or something like that. And we also have a ranking skill offering comments from Reddit. And in our bot now we have generative skills. After Alexa Prize Challenge 3 competition results, we wanted to implement them, but the quality was not enough to use it in the user experience. And all teams now use generative models in production for real users, and that's great, of course. And we will discuss how, in what format they were doing it. And the main thing, template skills, I mentioned, the template scenario skills, they're based on scenarios. And this means a large number of checks and requirements and conditions. And the code is being too loaded. And if one person is developing it, the other one, if someone leaves, so the other one, for him it will be very challenging to sort out this code. It was very inconvenient and troublesome. And as the main area for development for us was to develop a framework for a more convenient creation of such scenario skills. And Dialog Flow Framework is a product of the lab that was developed during Alexa Prize Challenge 4 competition, and it supports Python functions in order to make various checks of conditions and the derivation of responses on the basic level. And we use this basic version, and we create tens of skills covering the most popular topics. Moreover, a special extension was made that is very convenient and easily, without any additional actions, download information from various wiki resources, for instance, Wikipedia or WikiHub, and allows you to discuss it step by step, paragraph after paragraph. Moreover, it was a basic DFF version we used, and now it was extended and updated. Now it's a new product of the lab, and it is also an open source product to create dialogue skills. Various skills, and you can have more on this framework today from Denis Kuznetsov's presentation in another section. So let's continue about generative skills. The main thing to say about skills this year, everyone was using not just bare generative skills. They are heavy and large, but we need them to generate answers very quickly. So we needed with smaller models, and we needed to control them very effectively. Through what? Through this, we used generative models that are related to some paragraphs of knowledge, and this was used by all teams. All teams use the conditional models, not only with context, but a paragraph of information, a piece of text that might be used to generate a next utterance. This is a control of generative model format that allowed us to use it for real users. So selecting the answer is done in the format of a good algorithm, and except for specific cases, a lot of checks are done. If users want to change the topic or something like that, the main structure is as follows. To prioritize scenario skills, the more the user is staying in the scenario, the deeper the dialogue we have for a topic, and we do not change topics quickly and often, but users should have an opportunity to manage the dialogue. If he wants to switch to another topic, or he makes it very unexpectedly or smoothly, we should have an opportunity to allow him to do so. If he wants to change the topic, we should navigate properly and go into scenario the users want to go. And general priorities in cases where there are no special requests or stops, we want to prioritize scenario skills that were active during the previous step to continue the scenario, and next, in order to prioritize scenario skills, but basing on the fact that they have interrelated entities, those that are mentioned in the skill and those in the utterance of a user. So topic recommendation, we distribute the 12 topics we cover with scenario skills. We look at what was discussed in the dialogue before, and the same thing was done for Reddit, and we match the users and take their interests and so on. More details on this experiment are described in our report. You can have a look at it. As for discourse management, discourse is a different format for classification of steps in dialogue. Actually, in fact, those are classes that show at what stage of development of the dialogue we are in now. So this is not dialogue acts, but it is something showing that now users start a new subject that, for instance, he does not agree with another user, or he develops a theme. Discourse management, we think, will help development and more control over the dialogue and control over its development, and that's why it's good to use it, and we're actively working on applying it in the dialogue system. And to conclude, I would like to not just to show you a list of what we've done, but just show you a comparison by the key things with the top 3 bots of Alexa Price channel. In DeepPavlov YouTube channel, we have 2 large workshops where we look into details of various bots, top 1, 2, and 3. You can have a look at it, and I will briefly show you what we're having now. All dialogue bots, top bots, were using scripted scenario dialogues, and usually all bots of the dialogues followed the scripts, and in just some minor number of cases they did not do that. Another point, resources of knowledge graphs were also involved. Good linking, good resources, various databases, of course, mostly Wikipedia and Wikidata, but also from various specific themes. And another important point here is that they use the profile of users. So all bots are using information as much as possible. They use information users mention, their relatives or things they mentioned will be touched upon in the dialogue further. And this is a very good point, because in order to understand what users need, what they're interested in, this is the key thing to actually hold their attention. And neural network generation, the last point to mention. Everyone used generative models that are based on knowledge. No cases like just one case, probably. There is a bot with chit-chat, and they they do not use additional knowledge. But these neural network generative replics utterances are used for cases that are not covered by scripts. So that's the main approach here. And more details on this you can have from our YouTube channel at DeepPavlov channel and all the details on this. That's it from me. Thank you very much. Your questions are welcome. Dilyara, thank you very much for a great presentation. One question here.
The audience is asking a question. What other further directions for AI lab development exist? What could you please share with us? We are aware that you are doing some research, some serious advanced AI research, so we'd love to know more. Look, I have initially put that we're going to release our new bot, only English speaking. We are now working on small refactoring to shape it better. And it's a huge system, huge body of work has been done. It's going to be open source and everyone will be able to use it in the research. So the development of the dialogue system is important, and also lots of resources are focused on discourse as another format of dialogue characteristic management. And also we have a dedicated team that is into language models, learning them, experimenting with memory and so on. I think I can say that. And accordingly, also dialogue flow from work, it has become the new lab product, and also the guys at the conference even presenting this now, and today is going to be presented at the AI Journey. Dilyara, thank you so much.